It's often been noted how difficult it is to adapt Lovecraft to other mediums outside of literature. There aren't that many films, any TV shows I can think of. The video games are often kind of slow and awkward and don't really capture the mystery as much as they capture just sort of the grossness, or sometimes just are monotonous. But there is one medium that seems to do particularly well with Lovecraft, and that is board games. Welcome to the Eldridge Collection. My name is Aaron Peterson, and I will be your curator. Today we're talking about Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu. I've never been that big into board games. There's just something about me that's either not very competitive or gets super competitive when it comes to board games. I don't know what it is. I turn into a Machiavellian monster as soon as Monopoly comes out. I also sometimes find them, I don't know if I want to say tedious, but boring, if I'm going to be honest. It's hard for little plastic baubles to capture my imagination, and the contrivances that they come up with are sometimes just not that interesting to me. But recently, one of my friends got really into board games, and she brought over the game Pandemic, the original version, where a group of scientists travels the world trying to cure several diseases before it wipes out humanity. And this game was different. I thought it was very elegant, I thought it was very fun, and the best part, for me personally, was that it was cooperative as opposed to competitive. I just really enjoyed the dynamic of four people working together to solve a goal, and the stakes in the game just sort of captured, my imagination and raised the urgency to a level that I never felt bored or disengaged or disinterested. It's a great game, and you should definitely try it out. But today, I'm talking about one of the adaptations of that game, which is based on the Cthulhu mythos. This game differs from the original Pandemic in several key ways outside of just the aesthetics of, instead of, viral outbreaks, it's cultist or Shoggoth outbreaks. There's also a countdown feature involving the Great Old Ones outside of the cultist that adds a different level of complexity to the game. There's also kind of a smaller scale. You're just sort of in the Arkham, Massachusetts area as opposed to the entire world. Also, the character abilities are diversified because those characters can go insane, and it's not that their abilities become useless, it's that usually they change in interesting ways. Usually harder ways to execute on, but still interesting. Of course, one of the things I enjoy the most about this game is the imagery. I think the details on the figurines is quite fascinating, quite interesting. I love the color schemes throughout, the way that each little area is color-coded. I love the cards and the text on each of them. They really capture the feeling of being one of the investigators found in H.P. Lovecraft stories. Also, the cards that represent the old ones are very well done. I really enjoy the artwork. The last thing you should probably know about this game is that it can be a challenge. Now, that might be a good or a bad thing for you. We've lost most of the games that we've played. And I don't know if that's just because we're bad at this game and we haven't figured it out yet, or if it's just genuinely difficult. And I really appreciate that, especially since most of Lovecraft's stories end in defeat for the main characters. I guess it's only fitting that most of the games we play also end in our defeat. The added complexity of the cultist and the Shoggoths and the Great Old Ones, in addition to the sort of base mechanics of the original Pandemic game, just really increases the difficulty to pretty substantial levels. I would say, I don't know if it would say it's twice as hard, but it's definitely noticeably harder than the original Pandemic game. And if you love a great challenge, if you love interesting artwork, and if you love working with your friends as opposed to raging against them, then I definitely recommend this board game. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.